All right, lesson 10, 1/12 of the way through the lessons for algebra. Division by zero and also some conversions of area here. I want to first emphasize this paragraph here that outlines the difference between an expression being undefined and indeterminate. If you are dividing by zero, mathematically we say that that expression is undefined. If you end up with 0 divided by 0, mathematically we use the word indeterminate. Okay, it is important that we understand why we cannot divide by 0, and we'll explain that with the practice problems here. So, for letter A, -3 minus 2 is going to be -5. -2 plus 8 minus 6 is going to be 0. So I have -5 over 0. -5 divided by 0 is not 0. In fact, anything divided by 0 is undefined, unless it's 0 over 0. The reason is, let's talk about wrong answers. All right, if I say -5 divided by 0 is 0, well, then if I use the inverse operation of multiplication, I'm saying that 0 times 0 equals -5, which is not true, okay? There is no number that I can multiply by 0 to equal -5. That is why the answer is undefined, right? There's no number times 0 that equals -5, or whatever the numerator would be, okay? Anything times 0 is still 0. All right. For letter B, -8 plus 6 plus 2 is 0. 8 minus 4 minus 4 is 0. Now, 0 over 0 we classify as indeterminate. Indeterminate. Hopefully you are a better speller than me. But indeterminate, because it's 0 over 0 specifically. And you might be saying, well, why isn't the answer is 0? Because 0 times 0 equals 0. If we had 0 divided by 4, that would equal 0, right? Because 0 times 4 equals 0. But anytime we're dividing by 0, it's not going to give us an integer answer, right? I don't have a fantastic explanation for why we don't just consider 0 over 0 to equal 0, right? Because 0 times 0 does equal 0. But anytime we divide by 0, it's going to be either undefined or indeterminate, right? And if it's anything else besides 0 divided by 0, it makes sense, right? Because you can't do anything times 0 to get the original number. 0 over 0, though, mathematically is considered to be indeterminate. Okay, if you put 0 divided by 0 in your calculator, you will get some sort of error. If you put anything divided by 0 in your calculator, you will get some sort of error. So anytime you have a problem like this, you get 0 over 0, label your answer as indeterminate. But if it's anything else divided by 0, it's undefined. Okay, but if you have 0 divided by something, that just equals 0. Okay. C and D, the emphasis is just that we can multiply together in whatever order we want because of the commutative property. For example, for letter C, I'm just going to do 4 times 4 times 1, which is 16, and then multiply by -1 4 times, right? I have 4 negatives I'm multiplying together, so I know my answer is going to be positive, and I know 4 times 4 times 1 is 16. For letter D, I can multiply in any order, right? 2 times 10 times 2 is 40, times 6 is 240, times 2 negatives is going to keep it positive because I have 2 negatives there, so it's going to be 240. That might be a little easier than doing like 12 times 2 times 10. Maybe not. But I can multiply together in any order, right? Okay, conversions of area. I want to emphasize this. Off to the side here quickly. I want to emphasize that if I had a square of something that was 1 foot by 1 foot, that would equal 144 inches squared, right? Because I'd have to do 12 inches. Sorry about the small writing here. I'd have to do 12 inches times 12 inches, right? I'd have to do 12 inches times 12 inches to get 144 inches squared. So while 1 foot equals 12 inches, 1 square foot equals 144 inches squared. Okay, you can't, 1 square foot doesn't equal 12 inches squared. It equals 144 inches squared because 1 square foot is 1 foot times 1 foot. Okay, so we need to understand the difference there. So now we're introducing some unit multiplier problems that are conversions of area. And again, you don't have to do the arithmetic. You just have to show me you can do the setup. So 44 miles squared to feet squared is going to be 44 miles squared over 1. And then I'm going to use 2 unit multipliers to cancel out the miles squared. I know that there's 5,280 feet in 1 mile, 5,280 feet in 1 mile. So miles cancels out. Okay, I need 2 miles units to cancel out the miles squared, right? So my answer is 44 times 5,280 times 5,280, and I see my unit's going to be feet squared. So I can just write my answer as, I'm quickly running out of room. Apologize for that. There we go. It's going to just be 44 times 5,280 times 5,280 feet squared. Okay, again, I need 2 unit multipliers of 5,280 feet over 1 mile to cancel out the miles squared here. All right. And F, I'm converting centimeters squared to inches squared. So I have 3,500 centimeters squared. And then I'm going to use my conversion of 1 inch over 2.54 centimeters. Centimeters has to be the denominator, so it can cancel out the units here. I'm going to use that same conversion again because I need centimeters twice to cancel out centimeters squared. So my answer here is actually 3,500 over 2.54 times 2.54. And the unit is inches squared. Again, I'm sorry, I'm running out of room here, but notice that in this case, centimeters cancels out, but it's 33,500 divided by 2.54 times 2.54, right? So that's how my answer should be, and my unit is inches squared, right? Because I'm going to have inches times inches. Okay, so conversions of area, just have to use 2 unit multipliers to cancel out a unit of area there. All right. Okay. That is Algebra Lesson 10. I will see you back for Lesson 11.